My mom was the breadwinner in her home. She was the one who was able, and she really lifted her siblings. But of course, when her son fell sick, the cash flow was not the way it was before. So they left. That shattered her completely. I remember the spark I saw in her eyes before 2017. I've never seen it again. It broke her. Us being a family in ministry, people look at things as punishment.
They're in a cult.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Wamefanya nini so that their son pass, or why are they losing so much at in such a short time? It became very difficult, and she passed.
Hello and welcome to today's episode of Tuko Talks. And on today's episode, we bring you a story of a girl who is trying to rebuild her life and that of her family. Imagine coming from a family of a prominent bishop and a dad who has thriving businesses in the diaspora to losing everything in a blink of an eye. How did this happen, and how is she rebuilding her life from this? My name is Njerimasi and this is Nimu Njogona's story. So hi, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm fine. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Finally. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Yes.
And creating time to have this conversation. And I'm sure maybe some of our audience have seen your face on your TikTok account. But for those who have not yet met this beautiful face,
yes,
looking at this camera, you can introduce yourself so that they can know who you are.
Hi everyone. My name is Wairimu. I am a storyteller and a content creator. I always say I'm a storyteller with only one story to tell, and that's why we are here.
And that's your story.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for telling us that is why we are here. Because now at this point, I want to lay back together with my audience. Of course, we'll have a follow-up questions later.
Okay.
But tell us, where did all this begin? Who is Wairimu? What's your story and what's happening in your life?
So I am just a young girl who believes that I have to unpack everything before I move forward with life. Because the thing with life is that we carry so many baggages and zinakuwa mzito later on. So I decided to tell my story, first of all, in Itoke, and second of all, to relate with people who've been through the same. We always told nothing is new under the sun. And the only way you'll know that there's nothing new is by telling your story and having others tell theirs as well. So yeah. Everything started in, let me say 2013. In 2013, I was still in high school. So if I give a story from 2013 to 2015, there's a lot probably I will miss because I was in boarding school. But I come from a family of 4 siblings and 2 parents. But I had a brother who fell ill in 2013. My brother was diagnosed with cancer. It was at stage 2 or stage 3, I can't really recall. Me, I was in high school, kama kawaida, unasoma. But I had heard of him being sick and him traveling to India. And he traveled to India for the first time in 2014. Things were okay. You know, with cancer, ikianza kutibiwa, it looks like things are getting better. But it was a roller coaster for a whole 4 years. 4 years that drained my family completely of everything. We went into negative over 20 million, trying to help my brother get better and get treatment, because India is not cheap. Plus, I always say, unlike now where cancer is very common, 2013 it was not common. No. So even getting a cancer doctor, an oncologist, was not something you just walk into a hospital and get. It was very, very difficult. Plus, we didn't have that knowledge at all. So anyway, my brother went to India and he was in and out of India for a whole 4 years. Up until 2017, it became a bit difficult and he passed. What I always tell people is that you don't die of cancer. You die of the effects of the medication. And that is what happened with my brother. His immune system was so low, so the medication hit his kidneys, hit every part of his body, and that is how my brother passed. By the time he's passing, we've lost so much. And me as a girl, I was around 18, 19. When you're so used to every month you get money for hair, or you tell your mom, give me 1,000 bob for pizza, and then these things start lacking. What happens to my brain chemistry? Lack has already entered my system, and it has entered intensively. So at that point I knew, okay, things are not good. To a point now our parents are telling us, look, your brother is in hospital, every single shilling is channeled to hospital. So we did feel that kind of neglect because they have to deal with someone who needs it first. And it became very difficult, especially for me, you know, with lack, with not getting the things that you're used to getting, you start thinking, what the hell? You start thinking of life as a very questionable journey. Anyway, my brother passed. I was, at that particular point, I had joined uni. I was doing a diploma at St. Paul's, but due to defying semesters so much, a diploma that would have taken me a year took me 2 years, 3 months. Anyway, finished that, continued, got a small job, got into uni again. I wanted to do a degree. But then at this point, my parents are trying to regain everything they have lost. You know, you have to weigh. Will you go back to school, or are we going to try save our home? Because at this particular point, our home was at stake, which we lost eventually. Everything that my parents had worked for, everything disappeared. We were now at a point where we are starting from scratch. My parents are public figures. My mom's a bishop at this point, and a lot is being said. You know, when people don't understand, when something like that happens in a home, that home is no longer sane. It's no longer the same again. You guys are sick people in one house. So us being in a home, we are all broken. We have lost our brother. We are losing things one by one. And you're watching the trajectory that your family is taking is not a good trajectory. And outside, by virtue of having a bishop, people are thinking, or she sacrificed her child, or what's happening to that family, what is befalling that family. Us being a family in ministry, people look at things as punishment.
They're in a cult.
Yes, exactly. Wamefanya nini so that their son pass, or why are they losing so much at in such a short time? People don't understand how expensive cancer is. So we are losing. Mi nang'ang'ana maisha yangu. At that particular point, addiction has entered the system. I am no longer myself. I am just trying to exist and survive. Addiction hit for me and my big bro. And you all know what addiction does. For me, it was not much because I was still a very fully functioning adult. I will still hustle here and there, get a job hapa na pale. For my bro, it became very difficult because he's the one who stayed with my brother in India that long. So I think when you watch your own blood be sick for so long, it does something to you. And it was very difficult for him to recover, because still today, we still try for him to recover. That happened, got a job, you know, still struggling with my addiction, all the things that are happening. COVID hit. COVID hits. Us as a family, we're in ministry, meaning church.
It's closed.
Yes, and we also owned a school. The school's closed.
Oh, wow.
It was now going online. We closed everything. My parents really did their best to keep themselves afloat, because my dad is a businessman who used to live in diaspora, but he's here for now. So he did all he could to at least keep the family afloat. Na mimi this time, he's keeping the family afloat. Wairimu ameoleka. Because you know, 90% of women get married because of problems.
Yes.
You just sit down and you look at the problems in your own home. You're like, pana. If I continue staying here, things won't be good for me. I met a good human being, amazing, amazing soul. And we had dated for quite a while. So 3 years. And then when COVID was hitting is when now I had moved out of home completely and I was staying away. And that lasted for a while. He really stood with me. Shout out to that guy. Because it's not easy to be in a weird situation and someone loves you wholeheartedly, unconditionally. I really appreciate him. He took me in and we lived a good life until it ended. So COVID hit. I am out of home. My parents are trying to keep themselves afloat. They were doing a lot of online. Sasa sindo tulikuwa tumeingia stories za Zoom na nini. But my mom was not well. Ever since my brother passed, my mom, by virtue of having a bishop, her faith was quite strong. And the fact that she has prayed for people and stood with people and they got better, she thought it would have been the same for her son, but it was not. And that shattered her completely. I remember the spark I saw in her eyes before 2017. I've never seen it again. It broke her, especially when her being a public figure, she'd walk in multitudes of people and she'd just hear people speak things. And she's like, I wish they understood what I was going through. So that brought in a lot of, you know, issues with her health, pressure, hypertension, hapa na pale. It is not easy to speak of my mother. She was a public figure. So even in her death, no one knew what really happened. And when I speak about her right now and I speak about what caused her death, because I always say my mom passed of a heartbreak. I say this so that people for once can understand her. Because people knew a bishop, but me, I knew my mom. I knew the woman who traded everything in her life to make sure that her son can get better. But that did not happen. But what people did, or what society did, and I don't blame society, it's the way it has been structured, people demonized her so much. And she was not able to handle that. And as a public figure, you can't hide.
Yeah.
You still need to stand. And she tried her best. Everything she did, everything she could have done, she did. But it was a bit heavy for her, especially now when it became a health issue. It became very difficult, and she passed in 2021, July. So she passes, something I never expected to ever happen in my life. I think as a girl, no one expects her mom will pass, especially at the time I really needed her.
So there's a point where you left us, and we didn't get into the details of when you got married.
Yeah.
And then how did that marriage end?
So one thing about me, I'd say, is I am quite aware of myself. And anything that I do or anyone I affiliate myself with, I always know why I'm there. So naturally, when I met this guy, it was more of course, love at first sight. You guys think, it's all love and stuff. But when it got to a point where, okay, I need to, like, things at home are becoming quite difficult. We were not all mentally okay, especially after my brother. My brother passes, and then every day you hold your heart that an auctioneer will walk in and take everything and take the seat you're sitting on, So imagine if I am fearing an auctioneer will come, what is my mom and my dad feeling? How do you think they are responding to these issues? It becomes very difficult in a home. Our home was cold for a very long time, and I felt that, and I hated it. Because I knew, or rather I have studied life, and I know everything is about seasons. A season can end, but this one is taking too long. And I confided in my guy, and he was like, you know what? You can move out. You can move out, and you can come, and we can live together, and life will be okay. And that is what happened. He really supported me. I can't even complain. I got out against my parents' will. They didn't want that to happen. But for them, they think msichana anaoleka, because at an age you get to, and they're like, this one is just enjoying good sex. That's it. But it was not about that. It was about, I need a safe space for myself. And he got me out, and I got out. And I remember when I left, I didn't talk to my parents for a solid 7 months, because they were not supportive of this thing that is happening. But for me, I am not doing it for anything. I am doing it so that I can breathe. Anyway, that took its course. Boundaries were crossed, and I do not forgive crossing boundaries. And our relationship ended a few days after I buried my mom. I decided for it to end. Yes, that is how it ended. It was a good come we stay. I enjoyed myself. I cannot complain. But I have always known there is so much more for me. And then also when you sit down and realize you did not do a come we stay out of just love. You are escaping. Once you see that, you can't unsee it. And I always feel the need to correct some things, because when you carry baggages like that moving forward, it becomes difficult to carry. So I left the relationship. Yeah.
A few days after marrying.
Yes.
Wow. So how are you dealing with the heartbreak and a grief at the same time? You are grieving two people differently.
Literally, yeah. I think as a woman, we all know we live mentally before we live physically. So it being physical was not an issue.
You had left.
Exactly. Plus, I think I do not have an issue with moving forward once it comes to life.
Clearly.
We are left with my paps. Shout out to my dad. He's really tried to stand with us. By virtue of the fact that he's a diaspora guy, he has no connections here. His businesses are away. He can't travel. I have a small sister. At that time, my sister was, I think, 10 or 11. So he can't go anywhere. He's tied. We have a church. So he stayed and akangangana hapa na pale, but pia in the midst of kungangana, because our family was a two-income household. So one income has gone, and the one that you're left with is not even in the country. So that became quite difficult for my dad. Juali saidiana sana na mom. So at this point now, whatever has been left, the little we are left with, it's all gone now. Because we had a lot of debt that my brother left behind. And it is not everyone who forgave us. There are people who let go. But there are people who still we needed to pay. And my dad has been paying ever since. And paying, that means you just pick something and sell. or you go somewhere, you know, shida ya madeni, unachukua deni kulipa deni, unachukua deni ingine unalipa ingine, it becomes very difficult. That is a cycle that never ends.
Yeah.
So it became easier for my dad to just let go of what he has, sell it and try and cover whatever it is that has to be covered, so that he can, one, stay sane, and so that he can protect his family, because he needed to be sane to be a father. And that led us to moving from where we were staying, and we went back to Shags. It's so weird because when I posted my videos and I was talking about Shags, someone showed me a beautiful perspective of we got a soft landing, because it's not so many people who go and find an already built house and they move, but as we did. My grandma saw, she had seen the future, and she had seen things will have become difficult, and she told my dad, come back home. And we went back home, and we have been rebuilding ever since 2023. Yes.
Till today.
Till today.
There's a point where you mentioned about mom being heartbroken. What exactly was it happening at that point? Who are attacking mom?
Church, because my mom was created a Protestant church. By virtue of her branching off of where she used to be before, which was PCA, for the past 20 years that she had her own church, it was never okay. She has been fought ever since she began that church. So for something like this to happen, it really was just ridiculed from people, because, oh, we told you not to open a church, you've opened, see what is happening. So you can imagine everywhere you go, you're being told, I told you so, I told you so, because people are connecting her son's death to her beginning ministry. While anyone can get cancer, it's not something that was sent to my brother alone. People are dying daily of the same disease. But people became ignorant of that fact and saw it and connected it to my mom's ministry and now my brother passing. And that really shattered her. Because her being a bishop and her being able to pray for people, her being able to stand with people, lift people's spirits, in a way we did expect that from people. But we just did not get it. She didn't get that. Instead, she got demonized. And even in being demonized, she tried so hard to see if her son can get better, so that she can block out everything people were saying. And then it did not happen. That was the heartbreak that my mom went through. Now, what does she have to show? A dead son and deaths. And for those 4 years that my brother was sick and in and out of hospital, imagine what it did to her. So now what it did to her, it did the same to her ministry.
You've talked about this point where you're going back to Shags, you and your paps, and your grandma welcomes you. When you are dealing with your brother's sickness, mom's death, all these deaths and all these misfortunes happening to your family, was the extended family supporting you guys?
Not really. I come from a family where people mind their own businesses, but I will not discard them completely, because anytime I've buried my people, they were there. But other than that, I have never felt their presence in our lives. I can't complain, because that is how we have always lived. You know, every family has their own way of living, but that is how it has always been. The only side of the family, especially my mom's side, is the only side I can say that they intentionally neglected her. My mom was the breadwinner in her home. She was the one who was able, and she really lifted her siblings. But of course, when her son fell sick, the cash flow was not the way it was before. So they left. Yes, they left.
When she needed them.
Yes, when she needed them. And that messed her up. Because you can imagine, these are people who've lived in her own home for years. Because by virtue of my dad being away, my mom didn't want to be alone. So because she had sisters, the sisters came, and her brother. But now we are so used to seeing these people. They have always been here with us. But now my brother falls sick. The cash flow is not the same, and they have left. So that separation became very difficult for my mom. Very, very difficult. Even in her passing, she had not talked to her parents in a very long time. Very, very long time. And they are both alive.
Till date?
Till date, yes.
Do you have a relationship with them?
No, not at all. I can never. It's not possible for me.
Okay. So by the time my mom is passing, the church is still there?
Yes.
The school is still there?
Yes.
How do we lose them?
So the school was my mom's, right? She was running it. We were helping her. One of the reasons why I wouldn't hold a job for long, because she needed me. So we worked until her passing. COVID has hit. When COVID hits, and we had a physical location for the school, but the rent did not stop counting itself. And we were in the middle of town. So arrears keep piling. COVID stops and we get into business. At this point, after burying my mom, we were like, we need to hit business hard so that we can pay up and keep afloat. But to be honest, we don't even have bodily strength. Our minds are not okay. We have lost the one person. My mom was sick for less than 48 hours for her to pass. So we feel as though we didn't have closure of her passing. And like my bro, you saw him struggle for a while. But for my mom, she's sick today and she's not there tomorrow. So having to even internalize that and sit with that for a while, our bodies were not able to move for so long. And then after we buried my mom, my brother falls sick. The one who's actually now the director of the school. He falls sick. I am left alone. We ran until we can't run it normal. We closed that school. First of all, rent arrears. Second of all, we were not okay completely. Church as well, rent arrears are piling, even though the doors are closed. So one Sunday we go to church and the one who had leased land for us decides to kick us out on a Sunday morning. So she kicks us out, and the good thing is next to where the church was, my parents were still finishing to buy that small piece. So we take everything and move to this other side. That other side had a Sunday school, so it's a main church and a Sunday school. So we take down the entire church and move into the Sunday school. And through this move, my mom is a visionary of the church. So 90% of the congregation is there because of Bishop. So when Bishop goes, what happens? They all leave. So my dad is left with little people. And of course, that does something because there is no motivation. Motivation is when you preach and you see the impact that you create.
Absolutely.
And now these people are no longer there. And them leaving, si kutoka wametoka na uzuri. Wametoka kwa sababu they were fans of someone who is no longer there. And now things are no longer the same. And my dad is a very charismatic man and extremely straightforward. And he does not play around. Unlike my mom, who would shy away from, meaning with people, because congregants are different. So it became a big deal because one, people are still trying to get her seat, and are still trying to be my dad's wife. Hizo was zote. So you can imagine it became kind of a war zone, and people need to accept that happens. When we speak like this, people think, oh, hizi ni stories za jaba ama ni movie. Exactly. But this is what happens because first of all, my mom has left a very prominent seat. And in her course of ministry, she raised people spiritually. The people she raised who knew they were second from her. And they wanted the seat. But that is not how it works. We were even saying, at least give her 3 months to rest in her grave. At least 3 months. But anyway, that divide became so major in church, and people left, and it became... From a church of 500 to 600 people, we were left with less than 100 people. So how does society view that? Failures. You guys are failing. But my dad never let go because till today he's still preaching. Yes, he's still there.
So I'm looking at your story. It's from grace to grace.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
And as kids in this family, you're used to this lifestyle. Mom is the bishop. I can imagine mkienda church watoto bishop, how they are treated, how you're viewed. And now all of a sudden everything is crumbling. What does that do to a kid's mind?
It messes up a kid, man. It rewires your brain chemistry completely. Because I remember when, after my bro passed, my mom really tried, because she noticed the gap that she had created between her and her other kids, because she was so focused on this one, and she focused on that one for so long, because 4 years is a long time. So she did everything in her power to bring us back to herself, and she did that gracefully and successfully, to a point where, anything I wanted I'd get. She'd sacrifice so much for us, and now she comes and passes. And apart from just her passing as a human being, everything she had given to us has gone. So it's now a matter of people used to come meet you in this nice, beautiful home, or someone would call you for an urgent 2,000 bob, and it's no longer there. So shame joins the chat. You start hiding. Because what will you say? You hide because life has humbled you to a point of silence. In a room that you will speak up and be confident you can't talk no more. When you live that lifestyle of everyone, you know, all the cameras are on you, or all the attention is on you, and then exactly, you're always on the spotlight. And then it is taken away from you. And then when it is taken away from you, you know, it's one thing to take something away silently, but it's another thing to take it and use it to mock you. We've been mocked for a very long time. I remember 3 months ago, a friend of mine called me and he asked, where are you? He was used to coming to my home because I have always had friends where in third place, they know my home, they know my family, we all know each other like that. And ever since we moved back to Shags, the past 3 years we hid from people. We didn't pick calls, nothing. And this guy calls me, he's like, Uko, I want to come visit. And the location he knows we live in is no longer the same. So I had to stand there for 5 minutes to figure out whether I will give him this new location. And if I give him this new location, what will he say? Because someone who knew my life then and the life that I am living now, they will ask questions. But you get to a point that shame has messed you up so much, you're so tired of explaining yourself. Anyway, I was like, venye kutaenda, I sent him a pin location. And he came and he was like, this is not where you guys lived. Why are you here? Is this not your grandma's home? I'm like, yeah, this is where I stay. And he started asking so many questions. And that was the first time I figured I'm going to talk about this story because I will not let anyone use it against me. And I will not always explain myself. Things happen. Tables turn. If I am your friend and you're seeing this, you should know that tables turn. The lifestyle, everything that you have, it can go in a nick of time. It became very difficult. After when I was working with people, you know, when you have gone through so much trauma, you create a mask to cover it. I created a mask to cover it and people related to that mask, but I knew that was not me because I knew if I showed them the real me, I would be asked questions I can't answer. Why are you in Shags? At that time, having come from a family like mine, I moved out of home. When my family moved to Shags, I decided I won't move there because I knew if I moved there, it would have been difficult for me to get myself out of the darkness. So I decided to rent myself a small space and I got a nice bed sitter because at that time, sinaona mambo imeharibika. Nimeingia Nairobi, nimetafuta job kama wale wengine. I get a job, I'm getting paid 18,000 bob. And I get a bed sitter. And I remember someone came and asked me, how does your dad let you live in a bed sitter? I'm like, normal people live in bed sitters. But it's because they don't understand that sisi tumekubali maisha yetu imefika kwenye imefika and we are rebuilding afresh. Of course. Started my life in my tiny bed sitter and people refused to come. I remember there's so much, I don't want to call them my friends. I want to call them people I know. They'd be like, Wairimu, you need to work hard and get out of that bed sitter. What they don't understand, that tiny house saved my life. I did not move out because I had the money, because I wanted freedom, because of anything else. I moved out so that I can breathe for once. Because when you guys go through so much as a family, as a nuclear family, unajua hamwezi saidiana kutoka kwa hiyo funk. Hamwezi saidiana. So when you sit down and you look, okay, all my people are sick. You can only get cure outside. You move. And that's what I did. So it was not a matter of I am moving because I need the freedom or I have the money to move. I am moving so that I can save my life, so that I can come back home and do the same. Because at this particular point, I have a small sister. I have a brother. I can only do so much. The only thing I can do for them is I heal so that I give them the chance to do the same. And I guess I did. But from 2023, I think anyone who knew us before that, they have not heard from us for a very long time. Because your story ya kushinda ku explain why we are moving, why things are happening the way they are happening. Where our church was, it was a very big church. So when you pass there, you do see something was here and it's no longer there. So for people who know the before and after, they keep questioning and asking like, what's happening? Why are you guys downsizing? It becomes very difficult to answer those questions.
And every time we hear these questions, they take you back.
Exactly. And then people ask these questions from a point of their own privileges. From a point of, there are so many people, and we keep saying it online, and we are like, people didn't see the choices. People didn't see the options on the table.
They only
saw the choices. People don't know why we did what we had to do. We were trying to stay alive. Because one thing, when loss happens, when death enters a home, it comes with so much fear. The fear of you dying as well. The fear of, life will never be the same again. But life never being the same again, life becomes a very questionable journey. The contradictory feelings that you get to feel, because that is the lowest level of vibration, it becomes very difficult to even speak. But once someone comes and questions you from their own privileges, you're like, kwani unanibeba aje, friend? Like, I wish it was you in this situation. I'd like to see what you would have done if it was you.
Maybe you would have done better.
Exactly. Because people think they would have done better if they were in this situation. We have not been trained to deal with issues, because no one is ever ready for an issue to crop up. They just happen. You just have to pray that one day you wake up and it is not your day.
Of course. You have a very positive spirit.
Yes.
Even when you're telling this story, for someone else, they might have expected to be crying, to be so wishy, but you're very strong and very, very woke of emotions. There's a comment I saw on one of the videos you did on your page, and someone, when you mentioned that you guys used to earn from
the church,
school and church, and someone was like, you're earning from the church. The famous line that is going, what wako job, and what have you. How did you take that? Did you even respond? I didn't see.
I did. I think I did tell them to come back to reality, because mna expect pastors hukula wapi. My mom was in church for 20 years, Sunday to Sunday. She needs to eat, she needs clothes. And something else I told people, my parents, to be honest, my parents gave us a good life. And the good life my parents gave us is not even quarter of what church brought back home. Churches are organizations that are run by money. There are people to be paid. There are service providers to be paid. So when someone sits down and says, wanakula sadaka, is just from a point of ignorance, I'd say. But honestly, the fact that church is something that is also, you have to register it under a body, that means money is needed. So yes, not unless you just don't accept the fact that pastors do it from church. But that's the thing. It happens. Yeah.
Do you still go to church?
No, I don't.
Why?
I don't go to church because, first of all, we are in a new era of awakening. Churches are not the pillar of faith anymore. 2, I have been in the same church for so long. I felt the need to take a break.
So
plus, with all the wars that happened, I was really hurt. Because I'm thinking, you guys are fighting for a seat. Me, I don't have a mother. It's not about bishop now. It's not about church. It's not about who will sit on that seat, who will fit those shoes. I don't have a mom, man. Plus, being a bishop's kid or being a pastor's kid, there is what is expected of you. And every expectation people put on the table for me was nothing I saw for my life, man. So I was like, let me leave these people with their expectations. My life is personal. Let me heal and figure my life out alone. Yeah.
What are some of the expectations? I laughed because I'm one of the people who might be putting expectations on pastors' kids. What were some of the expectations you thought the church had on you? I am not supposed to be someone who parties. I am not supposed to be, curious, try drink hapa na pale. I am supposed to get a good man, get married and start having kids and continue ministry, probably be a pastor. Yes. They chose an identity for me. I'm supposed to be quiet. I'm supposed to be chilled. I am supposed to be in everybody in the church. I am supposed to, behave a certain way. As someone who is expressive, I do not take that lightly, because that means you're just dimming my light. So those are the expectations people had on me. Until today, I still walk and they're like, Wairimu kujangi kanisa, mama yako kiti yake itakaliwa na nani. But that was her career. Yeah.
That was her life.
That was not your calling.
My mom created her impact. That was her personal choice. I can do the same in different ways, not the way you expect me to do it. Yeah, those were the expectations on me. Till today, if someone even sees me in a pair of shorts, mtoto wa pastor. I'm like, yes, my mom was the bishop. I'm not a bishop. My dad is a pastor. I'm not a pastor. Whether the veil of Christianity or religion or ministry, I will still live my life to my best ability. So that is why I left church. Those expectations were too much. Plus, for a long time, having been that center of attention, it really messed up with my identity, because now you get to create an identity that people will accept.
Yeah.
So I did that for a very long time, and it was very tiring because you have to be performative. I had to perform my life to please them, to speak a certain way, dress a certain way, do things a certain way. No.
It was not for you anymore. I know we have really dwelt on how all this affected mom and the kids, but we have not really spoken about this particular person, dad. When all this is happening, dad was in the diaspora. He has to come back. He has to close his businesses. Now he's the one taking over the church. What is all this doing to your dad? As a daughter, how did you see dad getting affected?
I saw a man who lost his best friend, because my parents are two people who've stood with each other through thick and thin. And with the loss of my bro, they were able to help each other get through it. But this time round, he has to get through it alone. The one thing I remember is when my mom passed, my dad was not able to speak. Just like me, my dad is loud and quite expressive. But for a moment there, even his voice, you had to like come very close to listen to him. I think men don't show it, but that heartbreak, I don't think it will ever leave his system. Till today, there are things that he will do and you're like, this is just trauma. This is just trauma. He's always looking over his shoulder. He's very protective of us as his kids. The way he speaks of my mom, it broke him. It broke him. And the fact that society has put patriarchy on him, that he has to be strong and he needs to stand tall. We do see, I'm with him in the house, so I do see how much he has to look over his shoulder, how much he has to protect us, overprotect us, how much he has to even over-explain himself to us, his kids. He's always like, don't worry, my babies, things will be fine. Things will be fine. And us, we are like, we are trying our level best to make sure we can give you everything there is in this life, to at least cool your heart, kid dog or two. But especially the over-explaining. So I hate it when he does it, because we get you, pups. We get it, and we understand. If anyone was put in his position, they wouldn't survive. And he did. Yeah.
But he's holding on.
He's really holding on. Like, this us holding on is intentional. Si ile tu ya kuhold on not knowing what the future holds. Ni ile kuhold on ya we have no choice.
We have to.
We have to. There is no other choice. Yeah.
Wow.
Plus, having people look up to him, very many people look up to him. He still has to have that stature.
As a kid growing up, watching your parents loving each other, having this beautiful marriage, they have sources of income, they are thriving in ministry, business, and what have you. How did you picture your parents' life at the age they are right now?
I always looked at my mom as Mama Aida Odinga. That's the life I envisioned for her. The impact that she was about to create now, if she was here, was gonna go global. That was the only thing now for her ministry. But other than that, I looked at my mom as a girl who'd now go back to herself, love herself back, fix her heart, fix her spirit. She would have been so far as a woman. My dad as well. We never had pictured our lives here, because we always knew we finish, probably go to uni somewhere else, study. Because by virtue of being in the spotlight, my parents did know that it would have done something to us, and they were working or gearing towards us getting away from it completely. But that did not happen. But I envisioned my parents as two very impactful people, and their impact was going to go global. Yeah.
And your siblings?
My siblings, the same. I have an extremely smart brother. My brother is one of the best writers I've ever known. So I pictured him starting his own writing company or something along those lines. He's also a very good accountant. He's done CPA, quite good. So I pictured probably him with a wife and a few kids, probably be an auntie. Yeah.
Anyway, it will still happen.
It will still happen. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So when first you came out to share your story, I know the reception might be both negative or
definitely.
positive. Yeah. I wanted you to talk to us about because of course you went through the comments, what is one thing that someone wrote and encouraged you to share more? And what is another thing that someone wrote and you were like, I wish I didn't even come to tell you guys this story in the first place?
I think the one comment that really made me continue with what I was doing is the people who commented about the impact my mom had on their lives. People I don't know. Because when my mom started ministry, I was quite young. I think I was a 7-8-year-old. So when someone will say, I came to church when I was about to die, I was about to commit suicide, and your mom just spoke 2 words over my life and things changed. That was evidence enough that my mom worked. That was where I was going. But the comment that would have made me stop is the comments on mnakula sadaka, or rather the people who commented and said, apana kwenu mmerogwa, labda wazazi wako walikosea Mungu. Yeah, that is the comment that killed me completely. Because what do you mean you don't think cancer can happen to your family na pia si tukae chini tuseme umerogwa? Tables can turn.
Yeah.
I was not giving my story. Hata wase walikuwa nauliza, what do you want, Wairimu? Put up a pay bill. It's not about earning from the story. First of all, initoke. Because that is my identity. Not the mask that I have created for people to be able to relate with. This is the reality. Hii ndo mambo iko kwa ground. This is what I have been through. The moment you see a scarred soldier, you know he's from battle. But in life, we have created ourselves as soldiers, but we cover our scars. I gave that story so that I can stop over-explaining myself, and so that people can take me for who I am, not the person who's always laughing online, or the person who does a certain job, is in a certain career. No. This is my identity, and this is what I want people to relate with. And I think with this identity, at least it takes away so many other people and channels you the people that you need in your life. Yes. So that's why I did it, because, you sit down in a room of people 10 people who you think are your friends, or they think they are you're their friend. But then you guys are relating on surface level things. And that's why you hear, titulikuwa na yeye tu jana na alicommit suicide. I do not want that to happen.
I didn't even know they were suffering.
Exactly. Suffering is part of life. We need to accept it and beautify it, and people need to see it. Because when I spoke of my story, I have an entire WhatsApp group of people who we talk about what we've been through. There are people who actively have sick moms in their homes, people who have cancer themselves, and they have gone everywhere, but they have to keep that face, because hakuna mse anatakanga kushinda ameliliwa shida. But then he sees shida. It's a way of life. Nothing is new under the sun. If we don't talk about it, what can we talk about? That's
and
what
who
I do.
will talk about
exactly.
it? Yeah. Wow. I'm sitting here listening to you, and I'm remembering our life in the village where we would, of course, me and many others, we would judge people who, you see this family who are rich, and then you see them crumbling down, and then people start coming up with theories like, wako kwa cult, the devil has come for his things, God is punishing them. And I'm like, wow, people need to learn that the issues to do with health and tables can turn, like you said, tables can turn any day, and your life can change drastically. Yeah, you might be in the palace today, tomorrow you're in Kiba.
That's true.
And that's life.
That's life.
Same we accept that that's life, and this can happen. I
love connecting with people on that level, because that is the level that builds or kills. Kuna watu wamepitia mambo mingi sana, but by virtue of the fact that they can't speak about it, someone asked me, history yako mbona unapeana social media? And I told them, back in the day, people used to write those stories on books. But because you people don't read anymore, we have to put it on your screens so that it can at least awaken something in you. I remember when I did an interview, I didn't actually hear, my family does not know I'm here. When I did an interview a few weeks ago, my uncle listened, and he called me because he had also lost a wife prior, and he has 2 beautiful children. My auntie is now remarried in the family. Amazing people that I love. And he was telling me, Wairimu, umeniamsha akili, pia mimi nifikirie, maybe my kids went through the same. Because dads do not understand the damage the loss of a parent does to his kids. For him, he can get another wife, another spouse. Your kids will never get another mother. So the fact that the impact made him sit down and look beyond just my kids are grown and that's it. He sat down and looked at what scars were created in my kids' lives because of this loss. And I know I was winning when at least someone sits down and think, okay, maybe I can even apologize to my own children. Maybe there are things I did. Because let me tell you, when a parent passes, the spouse that is left, it never hits them immediately. Because for them already they have at the back of their mind, and it is any spouse, they know they can get another one. Na labda hata uwezi jua kulikuwa na yeye, uwezi jua. But mimi, siwezi, I can't cheat on my mother with another mother. Never. And I cannot get another mother no matter an in-law, no matter what. So when he sat down and he thought of, maybe my kids went through the same, I knew I'm doing a good thing. Because I want us to sit down and ask ourselves these questions so that we can stop producing kids that are coming into the world with so many scars. We can help prevent that. And that's the goal of my story.
And it's happening.
It's happening, yes. It's happening.
Because I can even, when I was going through the comments, I can see people, they are now appreciating the story. We have less of Wanakula Sadaka and focusing on the negativity.
Actually, the positivity was way more than the negativity. Yeah.
They have overwhelmed the negativity, and it's a good thing to see that your story is making an impact. And that is why we tell stories.
Yes, absolutely.
There's a young creator who recently lost a mom, and the mom was a gospel artist. May her soul rest in peace. And I saw people saying, like, she has lost her mom when she needs her the most. As a person who lost her mom at that age that you were, what are some of the milestones that you would have loved to see your mom go through? And every time they happen in your life, or every time you see, like, I'm about to go to this milestone and mom is not here, you're like, I wish mom was here.
It's not even milestones, really. But one thing people don't understand, or rather something that I have experienced with not having a mom, moms defend their kids. And moms defend their kids from being taken advantage of. Let me give a scenario. In 2023, so my mom passes, in 2020, actually that same year, 2022. So my mom passes in 2021. The one person in my life, my auntie, her name is Nduta, my best friend, now who would have stepped up for me and my sister. She got married to now this uncle I was talking about. She gets married in 2022 Christmas. 2022 is the first Christmas she will have spent with her husband. But now her mom was sick, my grandmother. And before she got married, she was taking care of my grandma full time. And it being her first Christmas, I told her, I'll step up, I'll go stay with Shosho, you go to your husband's side and have a very good time. Because tunasaidiananga kazi hivo. And I stayed with my grandma for almost a week. And then now when she came back from Christmas, she came na akani-release. But then she needed to do something else, I think 3 months later. Na sasa tulikuwa tunaulizana na nikawaambia, juu sasa sisi at this point, Shosho ako na grandchildren wazima. Nisi tukae chini tujue nani atamuangalia. But every hand pointed at me. I'm like, what do you mean? While I have older ones who can do a better job than I can. When I would mention someone's daughter, they're like, no, that one is gonna go do, she has stuff to do. What about yours? She also has stuff to do. Me, you're the only one. So I was like, if my mom was here, she would have defended me. It's not even about the milestones. It's about the protection and the covering a mother gives. Milestones can be hit with or without her. But there's a covering you'll never get from anywhere else. That is why you see a lot of disrespect happening to people with no mothers or people with no parents. It's not even about milestones. It's how people carry you. There is that people bring in when someone does not have a mother. That's why hata unasikianga a man who knows a child does not have a mother or the wife doesn't have a mother anamtesa.
Yes, after all.
Exactly. So it's not even about milestones, because with or without, our watoto watasoma, with or without they'll get degrees, with or without they can get their careers. But throughout all that, there's no one to hold their hands. So that's how important a mother is. It's not about the milestones. It's how you're treated for them lacking that mom.
Wow. Listening to this story is so heartbreaking, and it's a story that is very heavy. I can't even try to imagine or put my shoes in yours, my feet in your shoes. But I would love to know what keeps you going, because you would have given up a long time ago. Like, I'm living in shame. I'm hiding from people who used to know me. My life is going down. I'm losing everything. What keeps you going and wanting to stand again?
The fact that seasons don't last. But I also realized for seasons not to last, you have to make them not last. And as someone who, as a warrior who knows how to fight, I sat down and I realized, okay, I figured, okay, I need to fight these things. How do I fight shame? I fight shame by putting on my story, by putting on my scars without caring what people say. At the same time, I have a lot of hope for my future, because this story did not just come and hurt me, or everything just didn't hurt me and leave me for dead. There's a version of me it created that I never thought would ever see the light. And that version being here just means there's so much more to life than just having gone through so much darkness. And because darkness and light come from the same source, meaning you can change darkness to light or light to darkness. And that's what I'm doing. So it gives me, the fact that I have the power to do that, it gives me hope for tomorrow. Yeah.
Oh, wow. There's someone who's watching you this morning and they are at the verge of giving up. They might not have lost parents. They might not have lost businesses. You know, people go through different things and they break them differently.
Yeah.
What would you say to encourage such a soul?
I'd tell them that hitting rock bottom is where you stop digging. Unajua ukishagonga rock bottom hakunanga any other way. The only way is up. So sit there and sit with your emotions and sit with everything that you're going through and channel all that you're feeling towards light. You know, maybe you're going through a divorce, child loss, any loss of any kind, shame, embarrassment, all these things. There is always a view above all these things. The moment you set your mind to it, your problems become very small. Because the things I talk about with my family, it's not easy. And the reason that I don't even tell my family when I'm coming to do this this interview is because me, I am at a point where I'm done with masking. I'm done with what will people say. I'm done with whether it's shame or embarrassment. But where I am at, probably hawajafika hapo. And pia wao naweza waambia too, the fact that we know seasons don't last. Once we see beyond the shame, once we see beyond the, you know, it's grace to grass, whatever. Once you see beyond it, the problems become very small. And the moment problems are small, there's nothing you can't do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, amazing. I'm having a lot of take homes today. But before we close even this episode, there's a few people I would love you to address personally.
Yes.
If they ever come across this episode,
video, yeah.
I want you to address people that neglected mom when she needed them the most, and also the family. I would also want you to speak to dad and your siblings.
Yeah.
And also to Wairimu. What would you want her to know about herself? Looking at that camera.
This is to everyone whose heart skipped a bit when my mom was going through so much darkness. Tables do turn. And because I know each and every one of you, the day your tables turn, I'll be there to hold you, to love you, and to always stand with you in times of darkness. I have always known that huwezi lipa ubaya na ubaya. Na kwa sababu mwenye mimi alinileta kwa hii dunia hakuwa ilipa na ubaya, I will never revenge for her with cruelty. I will always do what she did. And that is stand with people, pray for people. Yeah. To my siblings, and I want to address both of them. To my brother Jimmy.
Yeah.
I love you. My brother keeps saying that what I'm doing will not, like there's no one coming to save me, but having to speak to many people brings hope. And I am not doing this for me only, I'm doing this for you, to show you when you go through so much darkness, you think that the world is also dark. But the moment you realize that actually when uko kwa hiyo darkness peke yako, kuna light. So the light is coming. and we will cultivate it as much as we can. To my baby sister, I love you. You know, I do everything in my power to make sure that you're all right. You will never lack. As long as me and Dad are here, everything about your life will always be smooth. And I would like to mention one more person. Yes. That's my auntie and my uncle. You guys stepped up in a way I'd never thought you would. Your children as well, that's Davy and Cynthia. You guys have opened your home for us. You have given us everything. We never expected that from you. But we love you and we appreciate you. And one day, God will come through for you too. And finally, to myself. All this story I'm doing by this is a love letter to myself. Because I promised myself that I will not let these issues put me down. But in 5 years, I'll come back to this video and I will have created more impact than I ever thought. And I will thank myself for it. So keep going, keep pushing. You're doing all right. Things are going to look up for you. Yeah. Eventually, yeah.
Oh, wow.
There is always a light at the end of the tunnel. Always. And me, I've already gone through my share of darkness. You know, everyone has this season. It comes for everyone. So I think as much as I would not have loved my mom to leave, I'm happy because the version of myself that has been created is something I never expected. So I appreciate what I've been through.
So you don't have like I wish things turned out.
I actually want them to stay the way they are.
Oh wow, that's powerful. Yeah. And something that I have learned this morning is that if darkness is there, the other thing that's gonna happen is light.
Exactly.
No in between.
Yes.
So if there's darkness, light is gonna come.
Absolutely. Eventually. And if there's light, dark is gonna
darkness.
come.
I was really trying not to say that. I'm really trying
they
not
have
to confess that.
As above, so below. So they both have to work together and they come from the same source.
Jesus.
Yes.
Hard truths.
Hard truths, yes.
Hard pills to swallow, but that's the truth of life.
Yes, that's the truth.
Thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Like myself and someone else who's watching here, they have learned a thing or two. And if someone wants to learn more or speak one-on-one to you after this episode, where can they find you and how
they can find me? I'm everywhere online. I call myself Nimo or Muiretu Awagare. On YouTube as well. I am creating content for YouTube. That is where they can get me.
Okay.
Yes.
The YouTube channel is?
Nemo Njuguna. Nemo Njuguna.
Nemo Njuguna.
Yes.
So they can come there.
They can come there,
learn more and listen to more of this story, right? Is there anything else you felt like you didn't touch on and you would have wanted our audience to know?
I don't think I have anything to tell them.
You're
I have told them everything that I came with.
How did you feel sharing this story with us?
It's a good feeling. It's a good feeling because what people don't understand, the more I speak, the more my heart gets easy and lighter. So it's not only just therapy, it is to know that it is therapy to so many other people. And that is what will make me sleep better at night.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much,
Thank you for having me.
And God bless you.
Amen. God bless you too.
Thank you. And to you, our viewer, thank you for sticking with us up to this point of today's episode. As usual, remember that Nimo's links to her social accounts, including the link to her YouTube channel, will be on the pinned comment below. If you want to learn more about her and more of her story, just click on the links and support her because she's trying to rebuild her life and that of her family. Also, if you haven't yet subscribed to this platform, kindly do so and support us. And remember to keep the comment section only encouraging and respectful. Until next time, my name is Jeremasi. Just keep it Tuko.